Okay, so it's starting to seem as if there's no reason whatsoever I should even look into any other prospects because maybe the San Antonio Spurs have already made up their minds.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, so you guys know that I am a huge Mates Buzelis fan, and I'm hoping that the San Antonio Spurs can get their hands on him as a player. And we already know that we're more than likely or potentially could have two picks in the 2024 NBA draft. So that dream could be a reality, but things are starting to look a little different, okay? So one thing that people have asked for, a lot of people want to know, who are the San Antonio Spurs going to draft? Are they going to go after a point guard in this upcoming draft? Well, our boy here, Will Udi, not quite sure, NBA staff writer of Fansided, put this out. So he said Rob Dillingham's camp is reportedly telling anyone who will listen that his preferred destination is San Antonio. Looks like the Spurs could have their sights set on Kentucky guard in June. I'll be honest, I don't recall it happening this soon as far as when a player goes out of their way to tell other teams, like, don't draft me. That's the only thing that makes me a little skeptical when it comes to this, because usually we don't hear about that, or they don't start to do that at least a couple weeks or a week before the draft. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely off on this. That's fine. Maybe I'm just completely off on this one. But I'm a little shocked that this would even be something. So not to say that you should just listen to every single thing that this writer in particular has to say, but I don't know, that's a little strange. But I will say this have picked up steam. We can see here that there are articles alluding to the fact that the Spurs will attempt to draft Rob Dillingham. So it said NBA scouts convinced San Antonio Spurs will draft Rob Dillingham. Just reading through a little bit, Dillingham is a standout prospect who has drawn comparisons to Tyrese Maxey and, well, I mean, obvious reasons, and would excel as the lead ball handler and pick and roll partner alongside Wembanyama. Dillingham shot 44.4% on limited volume in college and would be efficient floor general for the San Antonio Spurs. So we have here, so this is LJ Ellis, and you guys know I absolutely love LJ Ellis, okay? This is one person that I listen to what they have to say, and I do not take it with a grain of salt. I take it with all the salt that we can, okay? I don't have anything clever to back off that. I'm sorry. I'm tired today. Just got back from the gym. Brain is boop. Dillingham camp is telling anyone who will listen the preferred landing spot is San Antonio. So not only is Will saying this, but he might be getting it from LJ Ellis, which would make a lot of sense. So he says, multiple scouts have told me it'd be surprising if the Spurs pass on Dillingham due to his seamless fit next to Victor Wembanyama. Ellis spoke to an unnamed scout who claimed that he is convinced the Spurs pick him. Dillingham was taken third overall by the Spurs in a recent mock draft, as the fit and talent is undeniable. And it says here, should the Spurs add Dillingham, they will pass on free agents Chris Paul. I think they should quickly, which we know that they were interested in quickly, and likely not try to swing a deal for Trae Young. Yeah, I said this already, and we went over this when I was talking about Dillingham as a player. If the San Antonio Spurs got a a guard in this draft, yeah, the whole Trae Young thing, that's off the table. Like, they're not going to do that at all. Like, that's pretty obvious. But as the Spurs slowly build a winner, drafting for fit next to Wembanyama will likely remain a top priority. So you guys already know my thoughts on Rob Dillingham. I love him as a player. Like, I think that he is a phenomenal shot creator and everything. I ended up tweeting something out pretty recently where I said that I would take Stephon Castle over Dillingham, and let me just go ahead and try to expand my thoughts a little bit on that. The only reason why I said that was because it was the whole idea that maybe the Spurs wait to get their point guard. I've been very open to the fact that they might just try to get their wing or get some defenders and then go into the next draft. Just have Trey Jones kind of, hold it down for a little while. And then next draft or in 2025, then you decide, maybe you have a disgruntled Trae Young. Will we go after Trae Young? Or at that point, we can get another point guard in the upcoming draft because we'll have so many picks. So I just wasn't 100% sure. And I thought that they might just kind of wait on that another season. If they do not, and they go into this season and they just want a point guard, I am totally for getting Dillingham. Okay, I am not a big fan of some of the other point guards in this upcoming draft. Like, I know a lot of people are very adamant that the Spurs should grab that guy overseas that's been getting some Luka Doncic credit, that Topic. And I'm not saying he's a bad player. He is a really good player. But if we're talking about a point guard in the modern NBA, especially with what the Spurs got going right now, with as good of a playmaker as Wembanyama can be as well, and how he kind of makes up for a lot of flaws, I don't necessarily think that you need a Topic type player. Like, don't get me wrong, great pick and roll maestro. He can find the open man, but I'm a little worried because he doesn't have much of an in-between game. I mean, he doesn't really have much of a three-point shot. Defense, I think that is very lacking, and I just don't really know or see how he fits when the ball isn't in his hands. Well, whereas Rob Dillingham, even though the ball is in his hands quite often, I can definitely see him coming into a system in which, even if the ball isn't in his hands, he can make something happen, and he is a ultimate scorer. Defensively, he worries me because his effort defensively sometimes is lacking, I think. But offensively, he is an absolute monster, and he's good enough at passing the ball that I think that we can build upon it, and he can be something very special next to Wemby. So I'm totally for getting Dillingham. I was only leaning towards Castle because it was the whole idea that, well, he will fit. He is a really good defender. He has a lot to work on as far as his 3-point shooting and everything. But I do like him overall as a guard, and I thought that he would be a nice wing defender, or one of the wing defenders we can get in this upcoming draft. But if the Spurs are in it for Rob Dillingham, I'm totally for it. I get it. I understand it. And shot creation ability, he is an absolute monster. And we already have that clip, which I don't have it already up, but we went over it before, in which Rob Dillingham was straight up saying, yeah, if I were to go to Spurs, that would be great. Like, I would love to play for Wemby. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. A lot of these players, or I would say probably all the players, okay? All the players, especially someone in the caliber of Dillingham that's going to be in the lottery. When they go into these interviews, whether it be ESPN, FS1, whatever, even if it's a YouTube podcast, these guys know exactly what they're going to be asked, and they're ready for those questions. No questions are taking them off guard. There's an agreement beforehand. Their people talk to the other people's people, right? And they know what's going to be asked. So very similar to when Trae Young was asked all of those questions about Wembanyama. I'm pretty sure Rob Dillingham knew he was going to be asked about the potential of playing with Wemby and the San Antonio Spurs, and he was still up for talking about it, answering it, and putting it out there, saying, "Yeah, I would. Yeah, that would be cool. Playing with Popovich." So it's pretty apparent now. I think that we've got at least enough evidence of Rob Dillingham and how he lights up talking about San Antonio with Will's tweet right here, which I'm assuming he just got it from LJ. But LJL is saying this. I do not take it with a grain of salt. I actually like him a ton, and I think that he always has pretty good information when it comes down to things. So just overall, man, I think that we can at least sit back, and I'm convinced that the Spurs will go after Rob Dillingham. I'll still continue to do. Oh, there's my cat. You all right? You just couldn't wait till we were done. She just couldn't wait. She couldn't wait. But yeah, I'm convinced at this point I'll continue to do like other prospects, and we'll talk about other prospects and everything. But as it stands right now, it looks like the Spurs got their sights set on Rob Dillingham. I guess we just need to see where they land, and that will be next weekend. Is it next weekend? Hold on. I think it's the 12th. Yeah, so it'll be next weekend. So we'll know next weekend, Sunday. Here, I'll try to look it up really fast. Let's see, Spurs, or no, I shouldn't do that. NBA lot. Oh my gosh, my cat is pressing. NBA lottery. Oh my gosh, girl, you keep canceling when I'm typing. 2024 date. Let's see, May 12th. In Chicago, but it doesn't say when. It doesn't say what time it'll be. Usually it's around 6 to 7, but we'll definitely be live for that. let's see. Players who apply considerations. Yeah. Who cares? Who cares? We just know it's on that day. I'll go live for it. I'll actually be leaving out of another state, but I'm gonna try my best to make it here on time so we can go over it. But anyways, I will get with you guys later, man. Until next time, don't press any buttons. Don't press any buttons. Okay. Bye.